The title of the program is Becoming a Global Leader. It's a leadership masterclass. And our overall objective, as I've shared, is to grow leaders who will be able to bring a shift in their lives and in their domain of influence. Leaders who will be able to think global, which means we have to think big. We have to lead local where we are, and we have to focus on transforming the world. That is our motto. Think global, lead local, transform the world. And we are equipping leaders who will be transformers. And for today's sessions, this is the objective for today's session. We look at the introduction. We'll have an overview, a brief overview. And then I will be able to go through lesson 1 and lesson 2. Normally we start at the peak. We start at the peak because it's a marathon and there is so much to cover. We also need to listen to you as much as possible because it's also very interactive. So you will bear with us, but in every cohort, I've been advising them or encouraging them that we always have the potential. What we need sometimes is just some little pressure and the potential unlocks. So as we give you more work, as we continue to demand more from you in terms of probably some assignments, some reading, some articles, we are doing it because the potential is there. And as we pull ourselves more, we realize by the time you're finishing the program, we will have stretched to a certain level. And the potential that was dormant would have unlocked. So we are starting at the peak, and this is what we're going to look at today. And as I share this, I will want you to share through the chat one word that describes a leader or leadership. Every time we mention leadership, what clicks in your mind? Feel free to share. It can be one word, it can be a short description of who is a leader or what describes leadership. Okay, so in my overview, and I think this, I'll be very fast on this because we handled it during the open day, but since now we are getting into the core of the program, it's good to just recast this. And leadership and learning are indispensable. You can never separate leadership and learning. They are always together. And these are words of John F. Kennedy, that 5th president of US. So if I am a leader, it's default. By default, I need to be a learner. And we'll see why this is very critical as we move on. A leader cannot lead without knowledge, skills, and more importantly, a will or a desire. There are people who are in position of leadership, but probably the will is not well ignited. Maybe it was an appointment. Maybe it was from an external source of influence to lead. One of the questions I normally ask participants in every forum is this: when did you first become a leader? When did you first become a leader, or when did you first realize that you are in a position of leadership? Yeah, so you can also share that, and then we'll be able to sample a few. When you realize, wow, I'm in a position of leadership, at what point did you get into a position of leadership where you realized I am in a position of leadership and I'm leading? So it's about learning and continuous learning. A leader is a lifelong, perpetual learner. And great leaders are lifelong learners. They view learning as a continuous exercise, and they commit on a daily basis. Yeah, in every day as a leader, there is that incremental growth, which is very, very important. There's so much demand on us, and therefore we have to always be alert in terms of learning, to be able to equip ourselves to handle the challenges that we are encountering each and every day. And to remain a credible leader, I must always work fast, hardest, and longest on changing myself. This is neither easy nor natural, but it is essential. These are words of John Maxwell. And for you to be here today, it has taken a lot. It has taken a lot of investment, a lot of time. From our side, we have been doing all we can. People moving around, delivering manuals. A lot has gone to ensure that we are here today. And that is how valuable growth is. It's not for everyone because the price is very high. I can share with you, when you started this program, we shared to so many people, but the process has filtered. And finally, we have the few who are here with us. And it has also taken you a lot to be with us today. So Alvin Toffler said, the illiterate of the future are not those who cannot read or write, but those who cannot learn and relearn. We are in a period of a global pandemic, and some strategies that worked a while ago, some of them are not working now. Leaders are being forced to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. Sometimes you have to learn on the job because you don't really have a specific solution to the issue you are dealing with. So you are learning on the job. Yeah. So we are living in a dynamic world where what happens in China can easily influence what happens in Kenya, or what happens in one organization can easily influence what happens to another organization. And therefore, this is really very critical. John Wesley said, once in 7 years, I ban all my sermons. Yeah, I ban all my sermons, for it is a shame if I cannot write better sermons now than I did 7 years ago. This is also very real when it comes to leadership and strategies and the thinking styles. How we led a few years ago may have really, the styles and the methods and the attitudes might really have shifted because of the dynamic world that we are living in. And this is critical for us. A leader should keep his head in the clouds, but feet on the ground. Be ahead, but be with the people. And this program is really positioning us just to make sure that we have stepped some steps ahead of the people that we are leading, so that we can be able to usher them to the new level that we are stepping into. Personal development is critical success factor for every leadership. Leadership is the ability. Leadership ability is always the lead on personal and organizational effectiveness. This is very important. I am the lead in terms of the covering. Yeah, my level of leadership sets a cover, sets a benchmark. It sets a standard where probably others may not be able to exceed. So if I stretch myself as a leader, I'm creating space for growth, not just for me, but also for other people that I'm leading and the organization that I'm leading. So I'm stretching so that others can have space to stretch. If a person's leadership is strong, the organization lead is high. But if it's not, then the organization lead is limited. So as we stretch ourselves, we are creating space for others to be able to come in. And how do we do this? We can only give what we have. So to add value to others, we have to make ourselves more valuable. And one way of making ourselves more valuable is through learning. And that's why this program is very important. We can have more usefulness and to add more usefulness to others. Yeah, and maybe some of the questions we can be asking ourselves: are you able to teach a skill to the people that you are leading? Are you able to bring freshness of strategies, ideas, creativity? Are you able to open the door to a better opportunity? That is how we add usefulness, being able to teach a skill. And the skill that we get here will be for ourselves and also for the people that we are leading. The 4 C's of a global leader, I mentioned this, and this will keep on recurring throughout as we continue with this program. competency in terms of skills, we have to grow, clarity in terms of vision, character in terms of integrity, conviction in terms of purpose, and my importance. I have to believe that I'm important and there is a slot for me, and only me can be able to fill that slot and bring the impact that is supposed to be manifested. So the purpose of the program, there is a purpose statement. If you have your manual, you can check on page 3. Page 3. As you open page 3, take a few of your messages. So those who have joined us, you're welcome. We are moving on. Just check a few of your messages. If you're joining us as we are moving on, please feel free to share on the chat platform where you're joining us from, and then we'll be able to read through as we continue. So page 3, purpose statement. And in the purpose statement, we are saying it's emphasizing the role and the critical value of leadership. No arm is vital to champion transformational reforms than leadership. While a nation's or an organization's resources may determine its potential, it is the leadership that ultimately unlocks that potential and determines the success of the nation, organization, and its resources. So as much as we might be endowed with a lot of resources as individual and as organization and a country, it is the leader who will be able to help us unlock that potential. So as we equip ourselves as leaders, we're able to unlock the potential in us and then unlock the potential in other people that we are leading. And we are doing this in line with one of the key scripture, 2 Timothy 2:2. And the things you have heard me say in the presence of many witnesses, and trust to reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. As we equip you, our overall goal is that we'll be able to equip others. We'll share with you materials, we'll share with you as much as we can, and then from there you can be able to pick and equip others. Together we can accomplish too much as long as we do not care who gets the credit. To us, it's not about who gets the credit. To us, it's about the impact and transformation that we are able to bring out there. So leadership is about making others better. This is in line with our purpose statement. As a result of your presence and making sure that the impact lasts in your absence. And we always encourage leaders in the word, according to words of Shannon Alder, that carve your name on hearts, not on tombstones. A legacy is etched in the minds of others and the stories they share about. And this is critical, and this is what leaders are. Our key resource is people, because we focus and deal with people. That is our key resource, and therefore this is the treasure, and it's our focus of where we invest our times more and more. And then we can look at about the program. I think I won't share this much, but I'll say if the axe is dull and its edge unsharpened, more strength is needed, but skills bring success. When we are sharing this program out there, we encourage leaders to sharpen the leaders that are working under them. This will be of great benefit to the leaders themselves and to those who are in charge, the overall leaders, because if you sharpen the people you are working with as leaders, it means they'll be able to have more impact and be more productive. So if an axe is dull, then we need more strength. But if we are sharpened as leaders, we realize that our effort might be 20% effort, and we end up getting 80% results. But if I'm putting in 80% effort and I'm getting 20% results, probably my axe is not sharpened. Yeah, Abraham Lincoln, he said, if I have 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. And therefore, these hours that we'll spend here sharpening ourselves will really go a long way in terms of helping us to have more productivity as we move on. The program, we have different levels or different mode of training. We can do it consecutive, maybe 5 days, 8 weeks if we spread it, or even it can also take some months, maybe about 8 months if we spread it according to the months. But we realize working 1 week per day, just around 1.5 hours, is much favorable to a majority of the people, and that is the method that we are using currently. The cost, I shared the cost. Time, very critical. Financially, I shared the cost. And then authenticity. We'll get into the groups as we continue, and there will be a lot of sharing in our groups. And then rationally, the program will cost you vulnerability as you share your experience. So these are some of the costs that will incur as we move on. Pastor Kahindi, kindly check the messages. I'll get back to you, and then you can take us through the chat messages that have been shared. Okay, the program schedule. I shared this through the email, but I'll still share. After this, we are planning to have a WhatsApp group for ease of communication. So I'll share this so that we can be able to know. Already we have handled week 1, 23rd July. That was about the program and the structure, the preliminary. Today, we are more so on week 2, and we are on lesson 1 and 2, and a little bit of the overview. And the rest will follow as it's outlined in the program schedule. But this one, we will be able to look at it critically as we continue. On page 7, you need to sign that manual on page 7. As we commit, there are a few commitments that we need to make. My commitment, page 7. Kindly check page 7. And if you're having any challenges, please feel free to share. Feel free to share. Pastor Kahindi, you can sample a few messages from the chat group.
Okay, thank you. There were some 2 requests. One was, as you get in, just put your name and the contacts and where you are joining from. And the other one was, as the facilitator was going through, just give you a word or 2 or statement on what leadership is. And I'll just read through a number of them here. Somebody who did not have a manual says he'll have his manual next week. That's good. If you don't have your manual, please contact me or contact Joseph so that we organize for you to get your manual either online or you get your physical book. Then here, Kevin says a leader can be a representative of the rest. Collins Stowe says a leader is a decision maker. And Chege Kamau says leader is a mentor, is a motivator, and is a coach. A leader, this is from Stanley Ethel, all the way from Turkana, says a leader is much visionary and leads the way on the realization of his dreams and vision. But then Cornelia says, okay, he had a problem with connecting, so I think that is sorted now. We have Thomas Mukule Nyanje from Kino, that's in Kiambu. Then Jonathan Muhirwa is following from Umoja. Then Jonathan says, leadership is servanthood. And well, those are some of the comments that we are having so far. So for those who are just joined, because I can see others are joined here, just put down your name and where you are joining from. And if you have any challenge, just put it there. I'm monitoring it even as the facilitator is going on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Kahindi. On page 7, you can put your name, you can write your name there. I do hereby commit to above promises. First promise, I will attend the session consistently, on time, and prepared. We always believe that we respect others by keeping time. Yeah, so if you agree on a particular time, then we be there, all of us, at that time. I will share my personal experience and maintain confidentiality. You can read the rest. I will respect and honor other people's opinion. You've seen people sharing their own opinion about leadership. We respect all of them, and then we engage more. I will be open to change, yeah, to learn, to unlearn, and to relearn. That's very important. I will commit to share the knowledge entrusted to me to other reliable people who will also be qualified to teach others. So you can write and then put today's date and your signature. Great. So it's about the program, and then the package. There is a manual which all of us needs to have, and we're still working on this, becoming a global leader. And then a weekly book review, purpose-driven leader. We'll share this. I think some of you have already received this. And we are hoping to have some exchange program and probably maybe a study tour. We were to have a student from Rwanda. I don't know if he has joined us. We're expecting someone from Rwanda and someone from Tanzania. And then we'll have a final project proposal. And then there will be an online evaluation. So as you can see, it's really packaged. There is so much that we need to go through, and we really request that tighten your belt as we fly, as we get to the flight mode. And my promise is that it will be exciting. It will be exciting even as we listen to you and hear your side of the story also. Book review, we have matched. So we'll be sharing, like today, we'll inform you which chapters we'll read between now and Thursday next week. So the chapters you are reading, they are linked to the lesson that we are going through. So we'll be updating you, but we'll share this schedule also so that you can be able to follow through. Now, there is a book, as I said last time, is that a book titled The Greatest Story Ever Told. The beauty of this book, it has not yet been written. It's a nice story, it's a nice title, but the book, if you open inside, is still blank. And this book is about us, it's about you. And our goal is to take you through an adventure where we can unlock and write this book through our life history as leaders. That one day there can be a greatest story that people will want to read, not just written in the papers, but written in the hearts of people. So when we are doing things, we always share these papers, and each person writes the name and the date and the signature as we get into the adventure of this new journey. So the study method that we'll be using, we normally use acronym LACT. So as you write through, there are areas we'll identify as new information, something new I'm learning, that will be the L. You'll also be picking areas where you can apply, areas of application. You also pick areas you need to adjust, that is change. And also you pick areas or information that you commit to teach others. So that is what LACT stands for. Learn, apply, change, and then teach. And all the information that we're going to share can be summarized in this triangle of success. The triangle of success has 3 key components: knowledge, skills, and attitude. A successful leader encompasses all this. Is knowledgeable, skills, and skills we are talking about issues to do with goal setting, time management, reasoning, communication, and interpersonal skills. Knowledge, we are talking about information, facts, figures, and learning, and the science and the art of all aspects of leadership. When you're talking about attitudes, we're talking about self-motivation, self-confidence, integrity, optimism, cooperative commitment, among others. So we'll be revolving around this as we go on through these sessions. Again, let me mention that at the end of the program, we'll share all these PowerPoints. We'll share the entire and all the entire sessions at the end of the program. So just write what you can, but we'll be sharing this as we move on. So nothing great in the world has ever been accomplished without the right attitude and passion. And I think that talks about the attitude, talked about learning is necessary steps and always part and parcel of what we do. Success is dependent on inner drive to achieve it. And the three aspects that we have talked about will inform every step that we are taking. And we'll be getting deeper as we move on. But the most important aspect that we are also asking from you is what we call perseverance. And perseverance is the inner strength to get back into the battle after you have been wounded. Yeah? As I observe those who have succeeded and those who don't, it appears to me that the difference is in perseverance. So I assure you that as we move on, we'll need to continue tightening our belts more and more of perseverance, not in terms of the sessions, but in terms of what we need to deliver and what we need to achieve. Look at the triangle of success, which I just shared the overview. You look at the bottom. This is where we have a majority of the people. You can call them maybe the crowd, the ordinary, the general, and the someday. Someday I'll join the program, someday I'll do this, and they still remain at the bottom of the success triangle. And our objective is to try and pull as many as we can upward. But the journey moving upward requires success habits, requires growth plan, like what we are doing now, perseverance, as I've mentioned, action plans, strategies, knowledge, visionary and focus, and godliness. There is so much that we need to go through for us to be able to get to the peak. And the peak, these are the people who maximize today. They say today matters. They are planners. They look far. They are specialists. They do few things, but do them very well. And in terms of, you don't sometimes find them in big crowds. They believe in impacting the small people around them, as we are doing in this program. So we hope that we will continue to shift upward. By the time you're finishing the course, it's our hope that we'll be at the peak, all of us there, as we continue to grow. It's a process, even as we're still growing and moving through this. So as I get to lesson 1, which is also a bit brief, let me get back to Pastor Kahindi. Probably there are new comments from the chat.
Okay, not many, but see something. Rose and Tom says leadership is influence. And then we have Anne from USA says leaders are more role models. Then Cornelius here says is following from Udhiru. Then Philip said that the challenge have guided you. I hope you are okay now. Yes, those are the few comments. So others, just to drop any question you have and any other comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now we are getting to lesson 1. I'm sure now the overview is clear. If there is any question that you have, please feel free also to share from the overview that we have gone through. But now let's move to page 8. That's where we have lesson 1. Let's move to page 8, please. Okay, page 8, lesson 1, we are discussing about the 5 I's and the 6 principles of leadership. And this is what this book is all about. So it's just like an introduction to the entire program. And we'll be looking at these 5 E's that we'll be focusing on. And the 5 I, which you can fill in your manual, it is influence. So from your introduction, I've heard a lot about influence, and that is a very critical aspect when we are talking about leadership. So the first I of leadership is influence. The second I is inspiration. The third I is impact. Number 4 is integrity. Number 5 is integration. And then please add number 6. It's not in the manual, but we have added this as we were going through with the other cohort. Add number 6, intelligence. Yeah. So in the manual, we have handled each and every one of these aspects. Influence. We've talked about inspiration. The first one we talked about influence. And influence, we normally use it in this manual as an acronym also. And it means inspirational, be able to inspire others, be able to nurture, be able to focus, be more fruitful, or focus on your areas that will make you more fruitful. L is learning and listening. And then N is understanding, leaders care, balance a soft heart and a hard heart, know when to be courageous and when to be more caring. Emotional intelligence, very important, especially during this period that we are facing. Leaders are sensitive to their instincts and to the people's needs. And then we have N stands for navigate, leaders direct, be able to identify the route and guide the people or the vision. Communication, be able to communicate. Leaders are able to communicate effectively. This is also a session that we shall be handling. And then finally, E, exemplary. So influence is very core when we are talking about leadership, and we categorized or we try to expound it by making it more of an acronym that we can be able to remember. But when you're talking about influence, just the capacity to be able to have effect or impact. You can look at this in your manual. We have defined some of these aspects, but we'll get deeper as we move on. And number 2, we talked about inspiration, the urge or ability to stimulate. Are we able to stimulate people? Are we able to create the hunger to be able to learn or able to start growth? Talking about integration, being able to be part and parcel of the community so that we can be able to identify what we can be able to bring in terms of the value and optimizing their strength. Integrity, I think this is critical. We have a whole lesson on that. The quality of being honest, ethical, truthful, and having strong moral conviction. So this will be the areas that we'll be focusing on, and we'll continue to expound as we move on. And the 6 or the 5 I's that we are discussing today are inspired and anchored on the 6 core leadership principles. We'll handle each and every one of these core leadership principles. We'll be talking about the power of vision in leadership. We'll talk about the power of purpose in leadership. We'll talk about the power of character in leadership. We'll talk about the power of mentorship and succession in leadership. We'll talk about the power of personal development in leadership. And then finally, we'll talk about the power of effective communication in leadership. So in summary, now we are getting an overview of the entire program. But remember the 5 I's. So when we are defining leadership, some of those I's and the core leadership principles needs to inform what I define leadership to be and what leadership means to me. Yeah, we encourage our students that from here, there will be a distinction when you're talking about leadership, because there is new knowledge that you have gained. There is new understanding that you have been able to grasp in terms of the sessions. So you can be able to give a clear, coherent, and more practical definition of leadership and in terms of application to you as a leader. So this is the overall. And then in every session, there is a leadership challenge. In every session, there is a leadership challenge. And for the lesson 1, the leadership challenge that you are taking with you today, evaluate yourself based on the 5 I's and 1 T. The 1 T is transformation. 1 T is transformation. There are 5 I's of leadership and the 1 T, and the 1 T is transformation. And identify areas for improvement. Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Influence, is it very high? Is it high? Is it average? Is it below average? Is it very low? So just take your time. We are not doing this in class, but this is some of the takeaway between now and Thursday that we need to evaluate and look at. And then we can share during the class. Some of the leadership challenge we may not share in class. It may just be for your own personal application. And again, after looking at it and ranking, you need to draw an action plan on areas of improvement. If you realize some areas are very low, for example, in terms of integration, I've been less in terms of integrating with the people that I'm leading, integrating with the community, then you can work a plan on how to be able to improve on those areas. Okay, and that brings us to the end of lesson 1 and the overview. I hope we've been able to get some new information and some new knowledge as we get to the depth of the program. So today, because we are covering a lot, we'll not have a lot of interaction because we are setting pace, but from next time, we'll be able to create more time for interaction, but we'll be looking at your chat. We can interact through the chat so that we can be able to grasp more as we move on. Otherwise, I want to welcome Pastor Kahindi to be able to take us through lesson 2. Welcome, Pastor Kahindi.
Asante sana mwalimu. I hope you are learning something. For those of you who are listening, can somebody wave if he's getting anything? No, at least I've seen one hand there. I've seen a hand from this Trocana. Amy's iPhone. Okay, so thank you very much. Now, Mwalimu, do you have the rights to share a screen, or you are sharing for me?
Yes, you can share.
Good. Oh, you disabled me. Need to enable me.
Okay, try now.
Good. I think that is okay now. That is okay now. Thank you. Thank you. So somebody raised something on the chat, but we'll address that later. Lesson 2 talks of leadership gap. That there is a gap in leadership. And James Strock wrote and said everybody can lead because everyone can serve. According to him, the leadership is serving. Leadership is a democratized role. So it is everybody's business to lead. However, not every leader is leading. That echoes the words of another writer who said, there are so many leaders, but so little leadership around. This is a man, he actually wrote a book entitled, that one is called Dr. John Stanko. That there are very many leaders around, but very little leadership. They have the position, but they don't do the work. Our World Economic Forum on a global outlook held in 2015 identified that lack of leadership is the number 3 challenge facing organizations. About 86% of those who are interviewed agreed that there existed leadership crisis. So in our current position, we must appreciate that yes, we have leaders or so-called leaders, but very little leadership. This has created a gap. The leadership gap today is that there's capacity is insufficient to meet future requirements on leadership. And the 4 most important future skills, which were ranked as the weakest, are 1, the ability to inspire commitment on the people you lead. There is a shortage of that. We lack that. And then the ability to lead the employees, we have not gotten it quite right. Number 3, strategic planning, which is a role of leadership. There's a gap in that. And number 4 is change management. Anytime there is a change, I think you read about the law of momentum. Most people want the position to be the way they are, and nothing should change. Any kind of change brings instability, and people will resist it. Therefore, for change to be successful, there must be change management. This calls for leadership, which we have a gap in. To improve leadership capacity, therefore, organizations need to take both strategic and tactical approaches. So as leaders, we have that as our challenge, that we need to both look at the strategic and tactical approach to cover that gap. So the survey identified some 5 steps to help organizations bridge this gap. And the first one is to perform a leadership needs analysis. Again, lesson two, because as I'm going fast like this, we are now on page 13. Those who are following, so you follow on the screen and also in your book. So number 1 is you need to perform a leadership needs analysis, and then you create leadership strategy. That's the strategic approach. Then number 3, you need to develop clear, specific goals and strategies for individual leadership development. And once we have developed those clear strategic goals and strategies for individual development, Number 4, we need to create systems. And lastly, we need to evaluate these systems we have put and all the plans we have, are they working? And as that one goes, now it goes round, you perform a leadership needs analysis again so that you improve on and on to bridge the gap. Now, leadership challenge for lesson 2. We as leaders, we are stewards. So as stewards of this present age, we must face the challenge of developing, training, releasing, and producing a generation of leaders who can secure this generation and the next generation. As Malim has just said, leadership is not just about us and ending with us, but even as we sharpen our skills to be better leaders, the onus is on us to again develop other leaders, train other leaders, release other leaders, reproduce ourselves in the generation, the next generation of leaders, so that we can secure the future. In Africa, where I come from, this probably says, an army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. This just underlines the importance of a leader in a team. Regardless of the formation of the team, if the leader falters, then the whole team loses. But even if the team does not seem to be very sharp, it's made of weaklings, but the leader is strong, they will register greater success. So in essence, leadership is critical, and tomorrow's success is determined by today's investment in leadership. So what we are doing in this course actually is to invest in ourselves as leaders first. Before we invest in ourselves, we cannot go into investing to others. So you as a leader, you need to build yourself. Then next step is you build on others. Your work as a leader becomes easy when you have mentored people who can take your role. Even if you're working in an organization where you are an employee and you can leave, the people you develop will form that book which the facilitator spoke about, that you'll have written at the end of your journey as you exit this world. Now I ask you to move to page number 14 on your manuals, page number 14. On page number 14, there are 3 questions there. And that will be your take home. Reflect on these 3 questions. These 3 questions are taken from the survey done in 2015, which I've spoken about. And reflect on it and respond authentically to the questions in this manual. For those of you who don't have a manual, let me quickly just go through these 3 questions so that you are not left out. The first one is, what leadership skills and perspectives are critical for success now and in the future? I repeat, what leadership skills and perspectives are critical for success now and in the future? Question number 2 is, how strong are the current leaders in these critical skills and perspectives? How strong are the current leaders in these critical skills and perspectives? Number 3, how aligned is today's leadership with what will be most important skills and perspectives in the future? How aligned is today's leadership with what will be the most important skills and perspectives in the future? Those are the 3 questions that will be your take home as we come to the end of lesson 2. And I want to take a minute and look at any reactions. Meanwhile, let's read this. For those of you who have not gotten manuals, please, after this, just get in touch with me or Mwalimu so that you get it. As you see, we'll keep on referring to the manual, and it's good you are not left out. Thank you. Thank you. Kevin Mtunga, you are raising your hand. Please unmute and ask if you have something to ask.
Hello, sorry, I meant to wave when you asked us to wave.
Okay, okay. Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Oh, I was analog. I was saying waving the hand, and you went digital. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. So now over to you. Thank you very much for that. Any reactions? Just put them up on the chat, or if you can raise your hand, we will give you a minute to reaction. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mwalimu. Kindly unshare your screen. And we still have a few minutes, which we also want to get your reaction. We have kicked on, and we are set on every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. to 8:45 p.m. Today we are setting the tone, and we try to cover as much as we can. But please note that from today until Wednesday, 10 p.m., we'll be doing our book review. And what you do in the book review, in one paragraph or so, just summarize what you're picking, your takeaway from the book. And then we'll be able to provide you with an email that will share that one paragraph. Yeah, so every Wednesday by 10 p.m., you need to submit that brief. And then depending on how the class goes, we'll be sampling a few. So if we indicate that we're going to sample from 3, then you might be one of them. So always be prepared so that you can be able to sample or share whatever you submitted. So let me just write the email so that you can note it, but we'll still share officially. Otherwise, the email is info@globalleadershipctr.org. That is the email that we shall be using to submit our brief. You can, if you want to make it in a PowerPoint, well and good, because we are talking about global leaders and we never know where we shall meet next. So in this session, we are preparing global leaders. So in terms of presentations also, it's very critical. When we were going through cohort 3, there are people or there are students who came out very well. They were a bit weak in technology in terms of using some tools like PowerPoint. By the time we are finishing, they had really grown. They challenged themselves. So challenge yourself. Either you can use Microsoft Word, if you can put in 2 or 3 slides, well and good. And then the other issue, we encourage you to keep on paying little by little. We believe that we want you to tap into this resource, and therefore we don't want to put the cost, the cost in terms of money as a hindrance. We want to make it as open as possible. Whatever you get, submit as we continue within the 12 weeks. So just take the time to do that. Otherwise, we'll open officially a chat group to facilitate our communication. But as we close, I will give each person a minute, just maybe to share your takeaway. I can see we have Pastor Fidel from Rwanda. He will also be sharing. He'll be sharing a comment or two as we get to the close of today's session. So let me start with Cloud. Cloud, if you can hear me, please just share your takeaway for today's session and any other comment that you may want to share, just very briefly. So you can just unmute and then go on. Hello, Cloud. Okay, kindly try to unmute. I'll get back to you. Collins Store. Collins, we can't hear you. Yes, Cloud, we can hear you now.
Yes, you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be part of this class, and it's very good. But I have okay, I can ask some questions. Hello?
Yes, Cloud.
Yes, we can hear you.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I have a question here in the 5 I's and the 6 principles of leadership. I lost on the second. If you can help me in the second.
Okay, on the 5 I's.
Page 8.
Page 8.
Page 8.
Oh, great. I can, I get you. The first one was influence. The second one was inspiration.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and third one,
Thank
impact. Oh, the rest are okay.
And yeah, the rest are okay.
Okay, thank you so much.
And I thank for today.
Okay, thank you so much, Cloud. Collins seems to have some challenges. But I can read the comments from Collins. Thank you so much, Cloud. I'm happy with the presentation. Glad to have joined this team. Learning a lot already. That is Collins. I'll skip Peter Njao. I'll go to Bishop Philip Mulyungi. I don't know if your microphone is now working. I think there was a challenge. If not, you can share your comments on the chat. I'll read them out. Yeah, I will skip Elze. I'll go to Pastor Fidel from Rwanda. Please just introduce yourself and can share a comment. Kindly unmute. Pastor Fidel, we can't hear you. Okay, I think it seems to also have a challenge. Kindly share through the chat. I'll read as we close. Pastor Rosina Kahindi, any comment or observation? Okay, I think I'll get back to Rosina. Kioko Peter,
Yes.
karibu sana. Kindly let us know where you are watching us from and any comment about today's session.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening to you.
Good evening. Good evening.
I just joined the class late, but I'm learning a lot. Want to thank you for organizing these wonderful lessons for us. So I will continue learning much in this group. I'm watching from Mombasa.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kioko. Kindly share with me your number via text message.
All right.
Okay, let me go to Anne. Your comments, please, Anne. Anne Gitao.
Thank you very much for the lessons for today. My take-home point today is the LACT method. That is the learn, apply, change, and teach. And that one, I'm still ruminating on all the points because they are very rich. And I hope to continue learning from more, even though I'm a bit far, but I thank God because of technology. So keep up the good work. I'll be joining in every day. I'm ready to learn. I have my notes, but I still waiting for my manual. I think I didn't print it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne, from all the way in US. Pastor Chege Kamau, kindly your comments.
Yeah, thank you. I think very good presentations. May the Lord bless you so much. My take home is many times when we say leadership is about influence, we do not unpack the word influence. And therefore, this is what I'm taking home. The acronym, very powerful. I take home that today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We have Rose and Tom. Rose and Tom.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to join the global leadership. I've learned much for the time. I'm very sorry to have joined late, but for the time I've been in the class, I've been challenged to understand that there is a gap in the leadership, and this gap I have to find way to also be part of those who fill the gap, the position that is missing, and also the ways, how to fill the gap that is existing in the leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I think that is Thomas, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Techno 3Air, you have shared your comments. I'm grateful. I have learned a lot. Thank you. We will always be together. I've known that leadership is influence, and I've understood what it means. We have Nelson Asugo. Nelson, can you get me? Okay, let me go to Kelvin Mutunga.
Hello. Okay, I have, first of all, I want to thank you guys for organizing this. And I've learned on the triangle of leadership, that is the skills, character, and knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Onesimus Mweti.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello. I was having some challenges with logging in. I've just joined it towards the tail end of the meeting, but I will be better prepared next time.
Karibu sana Onesimus. Onesimus, you are joining us from where?
I'm from Umoja.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think we are 2 minutes past the time. I'm very grateful. This is just a tip of what is coming. There's so much that we're going to learn together and experience. And I challenge all of us that let's rise to the game. Let's jump deeper. If you are 50-50, please now escalate to 100% in the class. And we'll be getting deeper as we move on. So thank you so much for your time. Let's continue influencing ourselves and influencing those who are within our domain of leadership. And I'm sure by the time we are finishing this course, you will be very different, all of us, wherever we are, will be very unique, very different. Our leadership will have really improved, and people will want to know what happened. And then we'll take the story from there. Thank you, and God bless you all. I request Pastor Kahindi to close with a word of prayer.
Thank you. I saw like Njau was waving. Do you have something, Njau, or are you just greeting Onesimus back? Peter Njau, I saw you waving. Okay, maybe it wasn't for us. As we conclude and just before I pray, let me just say again, for those who have no manual, please try to contact us so that next week you will be on board without any challenges. I also want to encourage you on the issue of network. This one always happens, especially when you're beginning. But the more you do it, I don't know whether the gadgets get used to it or you get better or the network gets better, it becomes much more stable. However, there are recordings on this. So once we have all the contacts, we'll be sharing them on WhatsApp. We'll share the link for WhatsApp or email. So please, let's have your contacts so that you can catch up even for where you were not able to get because of network issues. Now with that, let us just pray as we conclude. Almighty Father, we thank you, Jehovah, for you have taken us safely this far. We began with you, and God, we have learned quite a lot. Thank you for each and every person that, Lord, you have enabled to connect today. We pray even for the many others who are not able but are willing. Enable them, O Jehovah Jireh, next time. Lord, as we conclude this, I pray for all the take-homes that everybody has and all that we have been told as challenges. Give us the ability to just face them as ourselves and guide us on the best way so that, Lord, we become better leaders in this world. We thank you for each and every person. May you bless them. Even during this time, Jehovah, of Corona pandemic, we pray for your protection, that God, we shall be safe in your hands. We honor you and we worship you. In Jesus' mighty name, I do pray and believe. Amen. Amen.
Thank you all. You can just unmute or as you say goodbye, as we say good night to each other. We are in this together and we shall come out strong together. So thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Good night, Stanley from Turkana.
Thank you so much, Joseph.
Good night, Anne from US. Peter
It's
Njau.
daytime here.
Good night, Nelson, Pastor Shege. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a blessed
Thank
night.
you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.
you.